Welcome back, everyone, of course, to the continued coverage here for the second annual Memorial $10,000 tournament. Of course, it's myself, Lando, of course, joined by the wonderful Burns Off.
Oh, thank you. I didn't know I'm that wonderful.
You are wonderful,
Oh,
Mr. Wonderful. Can I tag you as that name now? Is that your new nickname, Mr. Wonderful,
I'll
a.k.a.
change
Burns?
my Twitter name, just
okay.
Wonderful Burns.
That'd be awesome. That'd be delightful. I'd love to be a part of the impact that would make on your social media fame. You know? I'd love to be.
We could start a clan, Wonderful.
That'd be dope.
Yeah,
Team Wonderful.
Team Wonderful.
Okay, I'm writing that down. I'm holding you to that. Team. You actually know I'm legitimately writing this down right now. Team Wonderful. I'm with it. Regardless, we're hopping in here toward the side of xtrinkk, actually going up against Yeeeeeee. This is round number 2 so far in this tournament. I believe it was the side of xtrinkk. They actually had a bye. So this is their first kind of overall round of play, their first matchup. And with some new faces on this team, of course, Censor kind of rounding up the vets onto this group. Of course, grabbing Ricky, Mirx, and a recent addition in Mochila.
My boy Steve.
Yeah, and you got some history with Mochila back in the old Curse days.
Yeah,
right?
I teamed with him. We lived in Atlanta for a full year under Curse. Mirx was actually on the considered A squad at the time with Curse Las Vegas.
Right.
And Ricky's been around forever. I think Censor's really put himself in a great position with these 3 players, and I'm really hoping that Mirx has the, I guess the game that we expect him to have. Back in Black Ops 2, he was an absolute stud. Boots on the ground have just always been his forte, and I truly believe he had just a lot of unfortunate circumstances that have happened, and he just hasn't really been able to get to the position that he needs to be. So.
Oh, for sure. And I think when we do talk about this xtrinkk team, this is kind of a group who kind of wants to start over, I think it's fair to say. Of course, we do talk about, I think most notably, one player that you kind of bring up is Ricky, of course, playing back for Cloud9 and Black Ops 3. That was kind of like the highlight so far of his kind of jetpacking, overall career. We talked about Censor with, FaZe and whatnot during the beginning parts of Advanced Warfare. All these guys have had good moments throughout the jetpack era, but I think it really is kind of like a fresh restart, kind of like that moment where it's like, hey, you know what? We're on a new organization. We're playing together. As Mirx unfortunately shuts down his own teammate here in round 2. But this is kind of like their opportunity to kind of say, you know what? We're heading back to boots on the ground. We want to play with guys who we know are notable when it comes down to this game. But it really is going to kind of rely on kind of proving to themselves that they still got it. I think it's fair to say. Censor being a major portion of that kind of pressure, I think it's fair to say, has kind of been known as a guy who isn't necessarily known for the slang. But, I mean, he was obviously a fantastic Black Ops 1 player for a reason. Of course, kind of bringing back the old branding and trying to, like I said, add vets to the lineup.
Yep.
It should be an interesting team to watch, I think it's fair to say, not just throughout this tournament, but throughout the future of World War II.
You can't take anything away from Doug. He's won, I think, 3 or 4 MLG championships. I know he's won a UMG Nashville as well when he was on FaZe. The guy knows how to win. He might not put up the best numbers in the game, but he has like that clutch factor, that winning mentality of what I need to do for my team to bring to the WN. And I obviously like one of the best objectives in Call of Duty history. So overall, great guy. And, Ricky saw success last year, too, with Cloud9. He got 2nd at Las Vegas. He got top 5 at COD Champs. What was that? Not through Infinite Warfare. But
Black Ops 3,
Yeah, Black Ops 3. That's what I was thinking when they beat Optic. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, and a little bit highlight moments definitely to kind of bring up. But I think it's an interesting point of view to kind of hear you talk about when it comes to support players, kind of objective-minded players, of course, kind of being that to the latter parts of your career, especially Black Ops 3 for Team Liquid, most notably in that position. But
we don't get the credit we deserve.
Yeah, man, it's true. Like, I know there were certain moments throughout, kind of Advanced Warfare was kind of one of the first titles where people were saying, you know what, does the objective title really exist? Like, is it really one that no one can kind of focus on? But I think kind of coming back to the boots in the ground kind of overall fighting style, it kind of obviously brings back those roles. And I mean, when it comes down to players who play that objective role, I mean, not everyone, I think this is an important thing to bring up. Not everyone can play that objective role because, I mean, granted, everyone wants to get kills. Everyone wants to be in the limelight. Everyone wants to have those highlight moments, once the game kind of ends and whatnot. But support players, they really, they're kind of like the unsung heroes, I think it's fair to say, when it comes down to competitive Call of Duty. And yourself kind of being one for such a long time knows exactly how that kind of plays out.
Objectives, like myself, we're a little bit crazy, We don't really care about kills. We just like to look at the timer go up and our little scoreboard go up with all the points.
W, man.
I'll finish 10 and 40, but I'll have the most score in the game. That's for sure.
Oh, and
beautiful spot by xtrinkk.
Yeah, good overall placement there as it is currently. The side we've been talking about, of course, xtrinkk throughout most of this, but the side of Yeeeeeee with, I think, 9 E's, I think, at the end of their name, is currently up 3 rounds to 1. And VisionaryTalentz there with the pickup, I believe they're onto Doug, or Face Censor Douglas, I think is what he's known as now around the community. And his team kind of struggling when it comes down to this first map. Have to keep in mind, things are obviously kind of tuning up. They're trying to get into this one, but still already down by 2 rounds. Being early on in this tournament, you can't really afford to make this happen because Search and Destroy, there's so many different strategies that can kind of come out when it kind of overall comes down to this game mode, and you have to be on your heels at all times.
Yeah, for sure. I've always been a big, I always say this, like, if we go down 0-5, like, that team just did it, we can too mentality.
Yeah.
You're never out, but you definitely, there's only like so many rounds that you can give up in Search and Destroy, and letting this team go up 4-1, it'd be really hard to crawl back into this game.
Definitely would, as Ricky currently back here in Warehouse, having to try to do the damage with Censor, kind of needing to team up, maybe trying to form up. Rather, shuts down one. They're onto VisionaryTalentz, and at least gets hit markers on the second. And Censor, while sitting inside of Doc's Warehouse, might have to go for the rotation forward. However, does have VividTheWarrior just sitting on the opposite side inside of Fire. And rotating through Statue. What's the play call for Censor? Pulls out the PPSH, but he's waiting a long time to challenge this. And he's going to receive some shots in the side, needing to back up. And, of course, he's just trying to escape out of this gunfight and try to stay alive for a little bit longer, as he's going to need to go here for the retake, as that bomb is currently going down right now for Maarshian.
Yeah, Maarshian and Vivid played that really well. They basically stalled out time, and the other guy did a little loop, and they put a lot of pressure on Doug, forced him to back up. And trying to retake this bomb site's going to be really hard. You're approaching 2 people in, advantage positions on a head glitch, and you're just going to run into him and die like he just did. So
yeah.
What's his team's name, by the way?
The other team? It's Yeeeeeee.
Yeeeeeeee.
So
that's one of Justin's favorite callouts when he's about to kill someone. He just screams "Yee."
Is that so?
Yeah.
Okay, silly.
Maybe
that's
like
not surprising to me, actually. I'm not even gonna lie. That's not at all like it's like an oddity. It's like, okay, that's silly. That's Justin Fargo.
Like, great call out, Justin.
Yeah. I'm glad he got his Twitter back, by the way. That was a big deal. I saw him. He was very ticked off about that.
He was sad for a while.
Yeah. Definitely the emotions were flying, but speaking of flying, the nades are as well. And right now it is Next Threat trying to desperately get another round on the board, as this Censor, the objective man, trying to get the bomb down on A, as he will have some teammate support. I believe it's Ricky currently watching the back lines. And one thing that I do like about this team is I really like every roster that has Ricky on it, as Ricky just gets picked off there by Vivid. And nice responding there coming in from Censor. But I just like the role that Ricky plays on a team, because he can kind of be the guy who kind of plays that karma role, where whenever he needs to step up, he can get the slaying done. But for the most part, he doesn't mind being objectively focused. He doesn't mind kind of having that support kind of in the back of his mind. And he often does a great job at the slaying as well, which is a very difficult thing to find, where someone can kind of have a great balance between the slaying along with the support role. But Censor playing up this round pretty well, tossing up the Molotov, and if he can buy a few more seconds, he could be good to go. But needing to hop on the defuse, and Visionary should be good to grab that. Censor tried to waste as much time as possible, but it should be 5 rounds to 1 in favor of Yee, and just yes, in the nick of time, we'll grab it. And now we see Next Threat down.
Man, those bomb sounds are making my heart race a little
bit.
Are they? You hear it going like toot toot toot.
Yeah.
It's pretty crazy. And on topic of Ricky, I would say that he is that one player that you wouldn't expect to make a mistake. Like, he's always going to make the right play for your team. He might not outshine everybody, but he will never make a wrong play in a series. So as long as he's doing the extra and getting the kills that he needs to, you can definitely see this Next Threat roster being really promising during this game.
Definitely possible. As looks like Censor getting picked off. Of course, the only player to drop right now from the side of Next Threat in round number 7. It will be xtrinkk. 1-on-3 and stuck inside of Doc's Warehouse. It's a very difficult position to try to escape from, just because every single angle is watched. We'll head to the sky camera just to kind of see where those line sights. You see Ricky in the back lines, and it's Mirx watching that front door, as xtrinkk trying to do anything he can, spawning Mirx's head, but with 38 seconds left, it's just a matter of them kind of pinching over time. And maybe him just trying to build to some score streaks. Of course, still pretty far off of a glide bomb, but can earn double Molotov. So kind of just a throwaway around here. One that desperately needed to go the way of Next Threat. And it seems that it will work out in their favor, as the group of veterans can bring this one back, but it's going to be a difficult mountain to climb.
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not sure if you've been able to tell what's working so well for Yee. I just think they're winning their gunfights, and they're sticking together a little bit more. But besides that, you know, Next Threat finally gets the second round on the board, and if they can bring this back, it's going to be entertaining for all of us. But you know, Yee's gone 5 rounds. I'm pretty sure they'll be able to close it up and get one more.
Yeah, and I believe heading into round number 7, it was Mirx, who I think was 0-5, picks up 2 kills in that last one to help the round go in the way of Next Threat. But this is a guy who we talked about needs to have a big performance when it comes down to this roster. Of course, when it came down to boots on the ground, none of these guys were necessarily known, excluding maybe for Mochila, really known for their slaying paralysis. It was kind of just known as these guys are kind of role players. They do what they can, maybe focus on the support, being Censor and Ricky primarily. But this is a group who really needs to step it up when it comes down to overall slaying. And Search and Destroy, obviously much more situational, not really going to have that big of an opportunity to consistently drop kills. But right now, down, and this is honestly a game mode that I really thought was going to go their way.
Me too. I think looking at this Next Threat roster, you would expect Search to be their best.
Their forte.
Yes, for sure. Steve Mochila is insanely good at getting first bloods. Teaming with him for a year, he always made the job easier for us and was really good at just getting the timings down of just getting, you know, first blood and letting me get the plan off and stuff like that. But we'll see what Ricky can do here. 1 versus 3, challenging a guy on a head glitch with a machine pistol, not gonna work out for you.
Yeah, and it seemed like that was kind of the overall, you know, synopsis of this game, at least this map number 1 here on London Docks, was that it seemed that for the most part, Next Threat was just having a number of different problems when it came down to, obviously, of course, losing the first bloods, really needing to kind of bring it back. And it seemed like a lot of the times they were kind of rushing kind of unconventional things. I think there was a moment where Censor was in a 1 versus 3, keeping that in mind, of course, but where he was kind of rushing onto that A site. And things obviously just didn't work out because of the fact that everyone was already alive for the opposite team. So I think when it comes down to future rounds for Next Threat heading into map number 2, they need to do a better job at staying alive and kind of focusing on those slaying at times. Because like we said, we have Censor, Ricky, Mochila, Mirx. None of these guys, at least maybe at certain moments during their career, have been known for slaying. A lot of objective kind of minded style. And when it comes into facing off against, you know, the higher competitive teams, they're going to have to rely on Search and Destroy quite a bit based off their history. Can, of course, that change into World War II? Absolutely.
For sure.
But I think Search and Destroy is one that they have to definitely clean up heading into you know, future tournaments for World War II.
Yeah, this might be one of those tournaments, too, that's desperately needed for them to practice. Watching a lot of their streams, you can tell that they've been focusing a lot on Respawn lately. Just as I stated before, there's a lot of teams that have been either focusing on trying to get better at hard points, capture the flags, and gridiron compared to really practicing Search. So maybe they've just been trying to get the respawn down, and they're trying to, you know, try some new techniques and strats, and it didn't play well for map 1.
Welcome back, everyone, of course, to the continued coverage here for the 2nd annual Memorial $10,000 tournament. It's myself, Lando, along with Burns, as we're hopping in here toward map number 2, Ardennes Forest, between Next Threat and the side of Yee, with, I think, 8 or 9 E's, I think, Burns. I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, this team actually ended up taking it versus Next Threat. And map number 1, 6 rounds to 2 on London Docks, and playing very strong. Now the Vets have to respond back, being down a overall map. And, you know, you'd hate to see a team like this, of course, a group of veterans, lose in only just round 2.
Yeah, xtrinkk, and I think xtrinkk was the star of last match. He had double-digit numbers. And now that I've been thinking about it, I actually have heard of Vivid before. I know I've played him some point in the past. So these guys have, you know, been around the block, and I'm sure they're trying to shine. And what a great way to do so in one of the biggest Search and Destroy tournaments to kick off World War II.
Definitely, as we do see a much-needed round coming in from Next Threat. Of course, Mirx in the Bronze Star, a.k.a. the final kill cam in the Search and Destroy. But when it comes down to Ardennes Forest, it's really a lot of attention that's going to be focused over toward that B site in Ruins. Kind of a more of a difficult one to get forward to. If you have a sniper rifle who can kind of hold that back cabin position, I mean, you're basically walking to the enemy spawn when it comes down to kind of rotating over toward A. And it seems like at least for this offensive push for the side of Yee, they're focusing their attention over toward B, along with having Visionary drop 2 early kills, both Mochila and Censor falling, and Ricky doing some damage with an FG42 through mid-map. His teammate Mirx will drop, and we'll see what Ricky can try to do here in this 1-on-2 engagement.
I don't think he saw the guy to the left. Might get some unfortunate timing, but both the opposing members of Yee are just backing up and playing it safe, which I think is rightfully do so.
Yeah, it looks like one player going through East Road. It looks like player number 6, xtrinkk.
Is it called East Road?
I believe, yeah, going through East Road.
I like it.
Yeah. Trying to position his way forward, and the team shot's coming in. Ricky is able to spot out both of them and is still alive. However, 15 seconds remaining, most likely a round that's not going to go his way. And I believe we'll spot at least one, but will end up being dropped. That's kind of the differential that we see from both of these teams. We see, obviously, both offensive round victories for xtrinkk and Yee, focusing on different bomb sites and succeeding.
Yeah, I think on this map specifically, you might actually see teams on defense just give up, you know, A, maybe one round and try to fight all 4 of the opposing members at B. I feel, you know, winning those crucial gunfights in the beginning and just getting set up, it's going to be a really hard bomb site to retake with so many different corners and height advantages coming to try to break it.
Absolutely, and as we do kind of look here in round number 3 already, Visionary, starting off 4-1, does have a Molotov in his back pocket, finding a few kills in that last round. As Censor playing well off the break, rocking the PPSH and
the gold PPSH.
Yeah, the gold PPSH at that. Has been grinding. World War II pubs, of course, glad to see Censor back in the competitive scene. You know, from time to time has kind of found himself trying to play. Hasn't really found a whole lot of success trying to make his official comeback. But World War II, he's got an organization one way or another. And he's teaming with some high-level veterans at that. And it will be xtrinkk left to finish off Censor and Ricky, potentially. And he does have that Kar 98K, and if he did maybe get a pick on one, does have that machine pistol. Could easily do some damage with it. Spotting out one, but can't finish him off in the end, as it will be yet again another round to xtrinkk. And that one was looking a little bit scary. Not that they weren't bunching up in the worst way possible, but if you think about it, Censor and Ricky both kind of watching the same point of view. Most likely maybe some miscommunication in that round.
So I think you're right, but Censor might have been peeking around the right side and told Ricky to watch his left.
Yeah.
I think that might have been a scenario, but you are definitely right. Obviously, utilizing what you're watching on a map is the most important part of search and destroy. And, you know, they take the round. I think this is the right start that we expected out of xtrinkk, and Ricky picks up first blood with a nice little nade.
He does. Looks like here comes the Molotov from Censor. See if he maybe burns someone alive. Not the case. Gets some nice shots through mid-map. Goes for the immediate re-challenge there onto Maarshian. Now it's xtrinkk. Left all by his lonesome. Currently sitting at 3-2. About to be 3-3 most likely. As does have a Molotov. Probably not the play to use it. Isn't necessarily too close to any streak, so wouldn't really value him too much. It would just most likely be a waste. But at least one positive to be thinking about is that he does have the bomb. So if he was maybe to get a pick on, say, Ricky through mid-map, could maybe try to get a rotation to A, but still just 40 seconds left on this round, and quite a few more plays to make happen, as it will be Mirx picking him off there in the final kill.
For sure, and something I was going to bring up last round too, I think a difference maker, as much as it might not see, but Molotov use. You know, being in a 1 versus 1 situation and the opposing, you know, person has to come through a doorway, if you can burn that off and you know, force them to come through a scenario where they're already taking damage, you have a huge advantage. And sometimes you just see these, you know, pros and AMs, and they're just tossing it to toss it. I feel like if they try to just utilize it a little bit better, you might see them, you know, take a few more rounds off of the other team.
Definitely. And when we talk about Molotovs, of course, it only takes 300 to score to earn that. So when it comes into respawn, search and destroy, you're going to see those be utilized quite a bit. As we talked about utility, we also got to speak about smokes. Those were obviously used in this round for the set of xtrinkk to try to get this bomb down inside a cabin. And Censor getting ready to be greeted with a nade. That one will not land. Mochila able to shut down VividTheWarrior. And now we're finding ourselves in a 2 versus 2. Mochila going to join alongside of his teammate. We'll see how they try to get this bomb in a placement where they could try to clutch up. But Maarshian and xtrinkk still looking on, as we'll see how the retake could potentially come in. But Censor not going to get that bomb, or excuse me, Mochila not going to get that bomb down just yet. As just kind of a stalemate right now. Yeah,
I think xtrink's in a really good position to take this round. Censor's getting the bomb down right now, and you'd expect him to utilize the head glitch and just focus on cabin hall while Moch watches his back, and it's a pretty good setup.
Definitely. We'll see how Maarshian can try in duel, as kind of just waiting for his teammate xtrinkk, trying to do everything by himself, but picks off Mochila. And now Censor with an ult to do, 1 versus 2. You got to keep in mind, does earn the glide bomb in this case and fires some shots, has the backup PPS in his back
forgot
pocket,
the reload.
But none of them have the reload. Both guns out of ammo, and Maarshian will finish him off.
Oh no.
But got to keep in mind, though, Censor does earn streaks, so that is one positive, despite losing this round, that they can look forward to in future ones. But just really unfortunate timing there from Censor. Has the PPSH. Obviously realizes, oh, well, I have another one in my back pocket, but both out of ammo. That's just such unfortunate timing there from Doug.
Man, where was the shovel at?
Right, just out of nowhere, just picks it off the ground. Okay, this is how this is going to go down. Oh,
I've seen it been used a couple of times.
Have you?
Yes. It's a very bold strat.
Is that an EU United secret
Yes,
strategy?
it is. You just head down with 4 shovels, and you just confuse, the other team.
That would definitely confuse me, and I would 100% lose that round versus EU United for sure. Like, either it's Prasini or Arsteed's movement that would just have me literally throwing up because of how fast they're moving around the map.
Actually, the opposing team respects that strat so much, they don't shoot back, and they pull out shovels too. So. And then you just decide the whole series with shovel pounding.
Okay, shovel pounding, huh?
Yeah, that's a cute word.
It is. That is a cool little word there. But, of course, looking at round number 6, I believe xtrinkk ends up taking out his own teammates. So something to kind of keep in mind, a little bit of a gift given to Next Threat. We'll see if they do accept it. As it will be Mochila firing through ruins. It's just a matter of great placement and good overall passive play that we're seeing from Yee. And in different moments, of course, they realize we've got the bomb down. We really don't need to force the issue as they shut down Censor from the side. And Mochila's there for the pickup at the end as he'll fall too. But just so far from Yee, I think we've got to give a lot of respect here, Burns, to these guys just because they realize that, hey, we have the bomb placement down. We don't really need to challenge a certain thing, kind of play our head cover the way we need to. And just overall good passive play coming out of this group. Not really playing too abnormally fast, especially, you got to keep in mind when stream's on you, you're playing against a group of veterans. You kind of want to show off. You have a little more pressure maybe when it comes down to a certain series. But these guys are calm, cool, and collected, especially already having a map 1 in their arsenal. Yeah,
I was just going to say, like, one of the hardest traits to teach anybody is composure. And obviously these guys have that in the bag. They're bringing it, to a tied game, and they're right back in this.
It looks like the glide bomb starts to come forward. You see that Vivid goes for the immediate challenge. However, gets meted with the shots from Mochila.
What I really like about that play, too, is they focus on the player to just run at them as well. They got the crucial kill that they needed to. It forces the other team to back up. They get the plan, and they should be able to take this round if everything goes their way.
Definitely possible. Just run the corner. Censor spawning maybe the gun barrel from one, and this is exactly the roles are reversed. Censor now in the exact same position that Yee was in the last round. Realize the bomb is down, and they just really have to play the time. However, man advantage right now for Yee coming through mid-map, and Censor is trying to sit in this hole, but he'll end up being dropped. And good overall placement there for Visionary as the defuse will come in. They're get this one over toward Maarshian, and he will earn, I believe, the glide bomb, at least, along with, what is that, the artillery barrage?
That is artillery.
So
we got a warship coming in here pretty soon.
Oh, my.
Oh, gosh.
That's, you can just see, like, that's going to be a round where Next Threat's just looking up at the sky like, all right, this one's not going to go our way.
I mean, if you get the bomb planted at B with 20 seconds left, that's it's a guaranteed round win, basically. You're just trying to run in and dodge artilleries coming from a warship, by the ocean, so it's a pretty cool streak.
I'm going to ask you,
nifty.
Up to this point, for the set of Next Threat, they're obviously having, this is a close game. This is a very talented team in Yee, but what would you like to see them improve on necessarily? Because it seems that, while they are playing this one close, this is a group who, of course, has made their career for, boots on the ground Call of Duties, as it will be Censor who just finds one. Is it over-aggression? Is it just, not peaking things correctly? What really is the issue for Next Threat that you think so far is happening in this series?
I mean, you're looking at the scoreboard right now. All of them are performing and doing their jobs besides Miracle. This is like one of those odd series that I feel like there's not like a pinpoint of what's going wrong. They're really just not working together and clutching up when they need to. And when you have unfortunate rounds, when Doug loses all ammo in both of his guns and doesn't realize it, those rounds are slowly going to stack up against you, and the other team will take advantage of it.
We'll see how Ricky and Miracles can try to retake. Of course, beautiful team shot to distract one. Of course, Ricky firing through the wall, and Miracles is there for the pickup. And the nice little bait and switch there, as that was a beautifully played round. As quite frankly, it was Ricky kind of being the bait. Miracles was there for the final 2 kills, and maybe that's also Ricky's call of, easily maybe could have found the other 2 frags, but however, gives him over toward his teammate Miracles, maybe trying to give him some more confidence, especially after not playing that well in map number 1, and that's just plays that Ricky can make. Of course, kind of being that bait, kind of being the guy who is totally fine with not getting the, rewards, rather, from the round, but kind of being the guy that just says, you know what, we're back at tied, or, we're running around, that's all he really cares about.
For sure, and I think you would expect Yee to use the glide bomb, which it looks like they did, but they weren't able to, get in.
Capitalize on it, yeah.
Nothing at all.
Got to keep in mind the streaks from Maarshian as the round does continue. Question being, does xtrinkk realize that those streaks are in the back pocket? We could be seeing them play more passively due to that being the case, but here comes the streaks from Censor. He shuts down one there on VividTheWarrior. And at the same time, xtrinkk shutting out Steve. Or Mochila, excuse me. That's a big pick to find because this could easily have been a 4 versus 3 potential bomb plant on toward this site. And while it is an even man count, we think that Maarshian, it is going to be difficult to maybe call this streak in, especially being on this site. A lot of different placements for cover. And it looks like Mirx does get spotted out. That's just overall solid placement there for Maarshian and just kind of lack of knowledge there for Mirx. As everyone's
I think it's more lack of knowledge of not knowing where you can get shot from.
Yeah.
Kind of seemed like nobody was watching, the middle, and it gave up a fight. But most importantly, Doug used a crucial kill streak, and Mochila got picked off. We're in a 1 versus 1 right now. Ricky on xtrinkk.
Oh,
nice.
Ricky. Good reaction there.
Even with Moch falling, next threat closes up the round. It should have been a lot easier than coming down to a 1 versus 1. But I really think that's what separates top teams from mediocre teams is being able to stay alive while your teammates are calling in kill streaks. And then not only staying alive, but how do you use that map advantage to take control of the game from pushing them back or killing that certain person who needs, streaks, stuff like that. So
definitely. So, of course, focusing here on round number 10, it is currently xtrinkk with a 1-round advantage. And desperately, of course, need to win this map. They're down 0-1. They lost London Dock 6 rounds to 2. But here come the streaks. I believe these being called in from Maarshian, or maybe that just happened to be the random gun sounds throughout the map. No, he actually used it.
I think that was the 3-bomb drop, right? Or
potentially. This is this game.
Oh, that isn't. It's the I forgot what it's called. I can't think of it. But it's basically like a lightning strike. You put 3 points down, and then it comes down. I thought it was the artillery where
I was
like 20 seconds of just ramp these bombs. So.
Just put on the bomb site, and it's like, yeah, we're good. We won this round. But
I'm actually surprised he used that really early. Didn't execute any kills from it, and xtrink's about to take this and bring it to a map 3 unless xtrinkk can pull 1 versus 4, but that's not happening today.
Yeah, not happening anytime soon as the veterans respond exactly when they must, as it will be Ricky here in the final kill, closing out this round number 10 and putting it in their favor as xtrinkk will put and chalk one up on the board as we will be seeing and revisiting actually USS Texas, one that I'm very interested to see will play out. I know in the past Mochila has been known for that sniper rifle usage in previous Call of Duties. Curious to see who will take over that role, if it will be him or maybe a prior teammate. But just got to point out, Censor in that last game, 10-7, along with 4 plants, ends out with 15-25 score. Kind of a stat sheet stuffer and that much-needed win there for xtrinkk.
Yeah, the next map, USS Texas, I think you can expect Doug, Censor, to have a really big map, super close quarters, easy bomb plants if you have the right teammates around you. So I think we can expect Doug to come up big for his team and pull this map 3 together.
Absolutely. Of course, we've been kind of highlighting, I know, xtrinkk throughout a lot of this map. We have everyone, of course, to the continued coverage here for the 2nd annual Memorial $10,000 tournament. Of course, myself, Lando, here, joined alongside by the ever-wonderful Burns Off, a.k.a. Barnes.
Hello.
I had to bring it back. I had to say it at least once for tonight.
It's been revived for the next year.
Oh, no, not for the next year. Just at least for a few moments. But, of course, guys, we're hopping here toward map number 3, USS Texas, between xtrinkk and Yee. Keeping in mind, these are best of 3, so loser of this map goes home.
This is do or die right here.
Yeah, it's do or die. And early rounds like this, you can't really afford to lose. And Ricky being in a 1-on-3 spot, it's going to be awkward for him to try and come out of this, especially with none of his teammates actually finding kills except for Censor. So pretty awkward spot for him to be in. Of course, being spotted from a long range, realizing he can't go for the defuse. And yet again, another kind of swarming overall gameplay from Yee as they walk around with the first round.
Yeah, Vision got a crucial machine pistol kill, completely almost turned on the guy. But, when you're in a 1 versus 3 with the sniper, not much you can do. Unless they're just going to feed you with that machine pistol. They really spaced out perfectly and, finished the round.
Yeah, very smart plays. And this has kind of been the kind of story of this match has been in maps number 1, of course, it went to London Docks. It was a 6-rounds-to-2 victory for Yee, which kind of had us on the back foot, expecting to say, well, where was xtrinkk at? Was it just maybe a slow start to the series? Of course, in Ardennes Forest for map 2, it was xtrinkk who won that one 6-4. And it's kind of been a story of what's wrong with xtrinkk. What's not really, you know, up with Yee. It's just like, is xtrinkk playing well? They're playing bad, and it's never really been the fact of us kind of focusing on Maarshian, VividTheWarrior, and Visionary, and basically saying that, hey, maybe this is just the better search and destroy team of this, you know, between these two, just because of the historical, you know, moments between the, you know, veterans on this lineup. You'd expect them to kind of dominate when it comes into search and destroy, but struggling right now as a group, and we'll see if they can start to bring it back here in round number 2 as Censor's getting that bomb down. Yeah,
from the perspective of Yee, as you just saw, they took initiative when they got information that Mirx was playing the bomb, and whoever was watching his back decided to leave the second, you know, before he got it planted. So maybe it's a little bit of unorganization, and it's just Yee kind of working, you know, together more on decisive callouts and plays.
When a big kill comes in from Ricky, granted there was this Maarshian waiting around the corner, as it will be back-to-back rounds for the side of Yee, and it seems that just like the first bloods and kind of equaling out to 2v1, 3v1 engagements, I mean, it's not very rare, or it's kind of rare that if you ever are able to clutch those ones out and being them in back-to-back scenarios, you're not going to see xtrinkk win one of those anytime soon. So I think, honestly, if you're xtrinkk, you really have to start relying on those first bloods, maybe kind of relying on Mirx to try to do some damage with the PPSH inside a ship. Because right now, they're getting picked off, and they're not being able to kind of pick things up. They're kind of just continually falling and not really kind of responding for kills, not really getting trades, rather.
Yeah, I think you want to see them clutch up on this defense and then maybe not go for a quick plant. It's failed the previous time they did it. Just slow down a little bit more and try to force the other team to make a mistake. I mean, they are veterans, but looking at this other team, they're really impressive. I mean, you'd almost think that, you know, another team is account recovering or something. We might need to look into that. I've never heard of any of these guys, and maybe that's shame on me, but they're performing extremely well right now, and they're making the right plays at the right time. They look really cohesive, and yeah, they're just not messing up.
Yeah, and this would definitely be considered a surprising result if it was anyone but xtrinkk winning this particular series, as the bomb does get planted. We'll see how the side of xtrinkk will try and retake. It looks like Visionary coming holding that back lines, being aware of the flank, and spots one on the bomb, that being Censor, bar in his hand. No longer the PPSH, and it will be Ricky in the back lines with the sniper rifle doing some damage. And it looks like Ricky picks off yet again another kill. Now it's xtrinkk that's all by himself. Just having to try and stay alive, but 1 versus 3. Gets the headshot onto 1, but Ricky is there for the pickup, as it will be a successful defuse and one that played incredibly close. Only about 5 seconds of grace time there for Ricky to grab that one. Had it been xtrinkk, who could have maybe stayed alive for a little bit longer, kind of played his time a little bit, definitely could have walked away with the round, but big sniping plays coming in from Ricky, which is exactly what I think needs to come into play. Having someone kind of step up and kind of getting the kills when they're necessary. And who else rather than Richard Stacy to get it done?
They took away a glide bomb kill streak from Maarshian as well. He was 1 kill away. He did not get that. So I think the momentum is going to swing back into xtrinkk for this round number 4.
Of course, it's going to rely heavily off of first bloods, and it looks like Maarshian holding the back lines. We'll actually take a look and see what Censor's doing with that bomb. As the grenade goes through an explosion, I believe player number 1 in the back lines didn't know that that one was going through, as a kind of a temporary smoke for the moment. A Censor, yet again, great job to hopping onto that bomb site, and is currently planting that one down. Does it get spotted out? Yes. The quick responding kill from Mirx, however, is going to leave the bomb on A in a pretty awkward spot here, Burns. We'll go and take a look at it here from the bird's eye point of view. Just on that A site, no one yet to pick it up, and it's going to be awkward if you're in the position of xtrinkk, just because that one is in plain sight, ready for Maarshian in the back lines to see you every time.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed they decided to go for another quick plant, but at least they were in a position to trade, and they just didn't give up a free first blood. That's unfortunate. Hit him through the wall. Let's go, Ricky.
He has FMJ. He could do it.
Turn on Codcaster mode. You can do it.
No, no. But it looks like while that sniping battle is going on, Ricky distracts enough to where Mirx can hop onto the bomb site. Despite Molotovs being thrown from either side, Mirx hops down and gets picked off. Maarshian 2 in the back lines. Ricky able to finish off 1 despite dying. And now we find ourselves in a 1 versus 1. Mochila going for the side peek. Doesn't know which one to challenge. And kind of an awkward position to be in. Rushing with the pistol and rushing someone who's in quite a bit of cover, as I believe Maarshian finishes off with a hat trick in that round.
Yeah, it looked like there was a lot of utilities being used on the side of Yee, and it forced the members of xtrinkk to go to the lower level. Not only are they hurt, Is there extreme fall damage in this game, by the way? Do you know or not? I'm sure just barely going down won't affect it, but regardless, they were in a really awkward spot and they were hurt. Not going to have good chances of, cleaning up any good gunfights.
Definitely not, as this is the guy that I was talking about. One for me to be watching throughout this series. Of course, had some good moments in map number 2, but really was kind of off the back of having his teammate set him up. Guy Mirx, known for his SMG play back in Black Ops 2, was known as one of the best MSMC players throughout the entire game. And, of course, being the major factor of the championship win back for Impact, the World Championships.
Rico Impact.
Good old Rico, baby.
I'll never forget watching that. It was,
that was an amazing moment.
Yeah, it was, definitely. Killa, too. Killa got his ring, and I'm hoping to see him make strides and, do good in this game, too. I just feel like the level of teams now, like, when you're talking to like investors and talking to owners and stuff like that, it used to be these top 8 teams are the teams,
the ones you want to go for.
Yeah, exactly. And now it's like you have 16 teams that are potentially, if they're playing their A game, can come and walk away with a trophy.
Oh yeah,
and it's just going to keep increasing every single year.
Oh, for sure. Though I mean, the level of competition is just. I mean, I don't even know how to explain it to be honest. I mean, it's just is so raised up. I think it's fair to say, especially kind of keeping in mind. Like I said, you talked about maybe a few years ago, it was kind of down to like, hey, these are the guys you want to sign. As we see a great 2-piece coming here from Mochila in this round to solidify another one.
Much needed too from xtrinkk.
Yeah, for xtrinkk. But kind of getting back to the competition talk, and I'm glad that you do bring that one up, just because we talk about boots on the ground kind of coming into this title. It was already a heavy contested fight in Infinite Warfare. I mean, I think we saw Splice win a world title or a major championship. Of course, Optic Gaming, Luminosity. I mean, and Rise Nation. Yeah, he united there too. I mean, there was just a constant amount of different results that were happening at tournaments.
For sure.
Kind of heading
into a title. It was good to
see
too. It was good to see different teams have success.
Oh, for sure. And I think now heading back to the boots on the ground action, it's definitely going to kind of change things up for certain players. Does it make certain teams stronger? Does it make teams a little bit lesser? This is what really makes World War II so exciting because of the level of competition, plus that kind of unknown factor on how everyone's going to play is definitely hyping up this year to be one to be excited about.
Definitely, and this is a huge round for xtrinkk. Ricky gets a nice first blood with a sniper. He is so good at getting first blood, whether it's through a sniper or I'm sure you've noticed over the years of watching him, his grenade placements are really good. He's always able to pick up first blood or weaken flat jacket members with that. But unfortunately, 2 people from xtrinkk get taken out. Have an advantage, not good.
We'll see how Mirx and Ricky will play this. Mirx on that A site, not even near the objective at the moment, as he could be playing as a little bit of a flanker, but unfortunately cannot make that pick off. And if you're in Mirx's position, that's one that you have to find if you're in Mirx's spot. Ricky thankfully does pick off one with the submachine pistol, but regardless, Kar98k in his back pocket has to find the 2 final players or get the bomb down. Not enough time for either of those to take place, and honestly, it seemed like a good moment there coming in from xtrinkk, but that is a huge loss there that Mirx could have made because if you think about it, there's 2 enemies alive. If Mirx shuts down one as Ricky finds the other, that's a 2 versus 1 engagement that easily could have gone their way, but still, Mirx sitting at 2 and 6, while Censor sitting at 2 and 5. They're down by 2 rounds right now here, Burns, and I got to ask you, what do you think needs to come out of them for them to maybe get around back here or there?
More bait and switches, just like we saw from Yee. You had one guy running down the stairs to a patiently waited, someone that's just scoping in on the stairs. There's nothing much you can do there. I just think we need to see more teamwork plays out of xtrinkk. And there's no doubt in my mind that this team can bring it back if they get their stuff together. But yeah, it's just looking like Yee has the more dominant teamwork plays. I'm sure their communication is very good from how they're executing everything. More importantly, it's like I almost don't want to call out right now. It's so tense.
I know.
It's like
everyone playing passively and being incredibly careful as xtrinkk shuts down one on Mochila at the same time. Mirx tossing that nade from downtown. Will shut down Visionary. The immediate pistol rush there from Maarshian will drop the bomb down, and
Censor.
Back-to-back kills there from Censor with the SMG, and now leaves xtrinkk all by himself and could go for the plant, but does spot out Censor. So finally silencing Doug.
The sound bait.
The sound bait, indeed.
Yeah, I think he...
oh, and he does have the sniper rifle. Catches the head of Ricky, and now this one starts to become more likely. Also has the Molotov in his back pocket, but xtrinkk saying, maybe I have to go for the challenge. Not enough time to go over toward B, and I believe he spread out Mirx. This could happen. The 1 versus 3, but Mirx will respond there in the 1 versus 1, a much-needed round, probably one that you have to win for the side of xtrinkk. It's just a great overall shot in there for Mirx with the PPSH as xtrinkk begin to make this one a little bit more likely.
Yeah, having the PP instead of a machine gun pistol is definitely more valuable in that option, and Mirx closed it up. That was getting a little scary, though.
Yeah, definitely was. Especially after Censor's hot start with finding, what was it, 2 on the A site. There's a valid effort there from Yee, however. Still looking on a round that goes the way of xtrinkk. Still down, though, by 1. And, of course, now loading here toward round number 8. The objective still in the man of Censor's hands, and he has to be careful here. Going down those stairs and dropping with that bomb could be incredibly difficult for his team to kind of pick back up for him. As it will be Maarshian who shuts down Mirx. Censor also falls an immediate 2 versus 4. And that's a very awkward angle. You can't really blame Censor for dying that for that particular stance.
I mean, I didn't see the guy wearing Codcaster mode, so I don't know how Censor, you know, can't expect that.
And it looks like Ricky drops to the back lines. Mochila last up, 1 versus 4, now 1 versus 3. As Maarshian fully knowing exactly where he will be moving toward. As here comes the rush, the pistol up close, but no, Mochila. Never shut down 1, nearly goes for the turn on, but you got to be thinking in the situation, right? In a position like that, Mochila's in a 1 versus 4. He picks off 2 players. Like, if he has some teammate support there, if he has Ricky in the back lines, if Censor doesn't drop in that top control room area, I mean, it makes things so much easier. And it's just a matter of xtrinkk maybe playing a little bit too aggressively, or maybe just playing to the point where they don't really have anyone there for the trades. And I think that's what we're seeing kind of an issue with them constantly going forward, is that once someone dies, no one's there to pick it up.
For sure. And sometimes in search, you just have unfortunate plays that happen. That looked like a headshot.
It looked like that one was good, but apparently not.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Ricky.
Yep. Fortunates will continue for xtrinkk, as it will be Ricky who does get his overall comeback there.
I think we're seeing a lot of people get first blooded when they have the gold PPSH. I think it's just putting an internal confidence inside of them. And
but Maarshian has the diamond camo, I believe.
All right, that's the move.
That's dope.
That's the move.
I like that a lot. I think I saw a classic actually with the exact same gun on the FG42 last night. And I was just like, that took a long time to get. Like I was totally happy that I have gold on my bar, and like just seeing that, it's just like, wow, that's an extra level of grinding that I'm not sure if I'm prepared for right now.
Yep. You thinking around 11, or you think he's going to be able to close this out next round?
I really think that Yee can close this one out. Granted, like xtrinkk have looked good at certain moments, and this is the veteran team. So if there was anyone to do it in this line or in this tournament, I mean, this is a group that has quite a bit of overall chemistry and you know, veteranship kind of built up. But just based off what we've been seeing, xtrinkk has to make an adjustment. I mean, we're not going to see the same old round after round and seeing xtrinkk become victors after the end of it. They're either going to have to find a first blood or start to play closer to one another, because if not, I think this one goes to Yee most of the time. And playing well is Maarshian, currently sitting at 8 and 5. Vivid currently even at 7 and 7. I mean, really, I think this one's going to come down to first picks and if whether or not xtrinkk can trade effectively or not.
Yeah, I mean, look at the scoreboard. You see Ricky at 12 and 5. He's by far the most patient player, and you know, just sitting on top of in the back with the sniper. He's playing great. I think it just comes to his other teammates just kind of slowing down the pace a little bit and kind of like working around Ricky, if that makes sense. So.
Yeah, it definitely does. But looks like Censor successfully able to get the bomb down, also stays alive. That's the more important factor of the two, is that he remains up for his team, 4 versus 4, and will spot out 1 there on Visionary. He needs to go for the challenge. The
hip fire.
Yeah, the hip fire, nearly leading to a headshot as 3 versus 3 now, and Censor loses a crucial battle just below, and Vivid finds the 3 kills, I believe, during that entire sequence, and now it's Ricky. Blast alive, 1 versus 3, and Maarshian's going for the defuse. He realizes that he has to go for the snipe on the bomb, but it's already been defused, and just like that, the upset will come forward here. And just round number 2, xtrinkk has been eliminated by the boys over on Yeeeeeeee.
Yee.
Yeeeeeeeee. That was kind of an interesting little phrasing there.
Far too long, say it out loud, like you really